This model from WSI is a Volvo FH4 tractor and a Nooteboom trailer. It's a limited edition in the colours of Cepelludo, which is a Spanish company that was founded in 1960. The packaging is typical for a WSI truck model. It's a factory sealed box, and you can pick out the parts just like picking out freshly baked donuts from a box. However, it is recommended that you don't eat this model. One nice addition is that it does include an instruction sheet for the model trailer, and on the other side there's information about the real trailer. We shall begin by assembling the trailer, and we'll fit the 4-axle module onto the load deck. It's an easy interlocking connection and there's a steel pin which makes the join. It's a bit fiddly to get in, and the only issue on the review model was that the deck wasn't quite straight with the module, so the leading axle was not fully grounded. We've attached the interdolly and gooseneck at the front and added it to the Volvo. We can now complete some of the smaller aspects of the assembly, and that includes tucking in the cable connection from the interdolly to the load deck. Next we'll go to the back, and there's a closure plate which fits in at the end of the trough, and that clips into place. And while we're there, we can also add on a width marker board assembly, and that presses into a couple of holes. There are more marker boards which slot into either side of the gooseneck, and with that the assembly is complete. This model does come with a couple of detail parts which are convoy exceptionnel signs. There's one for the front and one for the back, but there's nowhere to actually clip them on. But if you do want to display the model with them, you can use a clunky workaround. And in this case we're just using a little bit of plastic putty to stick the sign onto the front of the Volvo. But whatever you do, don't damage the model. On with the detail, and the Volvo has a typically detailed 8x4 chassis, with different tyres on the steering and driven axles. The Volvo looks really good with a light bar on the top and coloured door mirrors, and the mesh grille is very convincing. It also looks good because of the very nice Cepelludo colour scheme, and that includes highlighted wheel caps. Behind the cab there's a plastic equipment tower with an excellent colour match, and there are the usual coiled lines. The modules have got a strong frame with nicely detailed wheel sets, and a highlight of the detail is the control console on the gooseneck. There are more really nice details on the interdolly, and it shares the highlighted bolt heads that are also on the rear module. There's more nice detailing and graphics at the back of the rear module. Out on the test track, let's try out the Volvo on the road. And it's not quite sure-footed, or should I say sure-wheeled, as it skids slightly in a straight line. There is link steering of the front two axles, but as you can see the range of movement is quite small. However, as we always say, something is better than nothing. The Volvo has a tilting cab which can pose in a tilted position, and then we can see that there's a Volvo engine underneath the cab. Once you've finished servicing the engine, you can tilt the cab back using a giant hand. The modules are quite nicely engineered. The 4-axle goes smoothly in a straight line, and it's also got linked proportional steering. The range of movement is not quite as much as you would like, but at least you can pose the model as if it was turning. The 4-axle module also has nicely sprung suspension. The interdolly also zips about nicely, and it's also got steering which is parallel in nature. So the interdolly likes to come at you at a funny angle. The interdolly does not have sprung suspension, but you can raise and lower the wheels. So for example, you could pose the model with the interdolly out of service. And that would be used when the trailer is empty to save on tyre wear. But once you're on site and ready for a load, you can lower the two axles on the interdolly. You do have some other options for displaying the model, and one of those is to add on deck posts. These are metal and they push into place, and on the review model the fit was quite good. If you want a wider load deck, you have another option, and for that you open up the supports which are tucked into the edge. Once you've got them open and lined up, you can then add on some additional plastic timbers, and you just have to work out which order they go in to fit properly on the variable spacings. But just watch out for a giant hand knocking them all off. Another display option for the model is to have an extended load deck. It's telescopic and it just smoothly pulls out. Or if you want another option, you can take out the interdolly and just connect the load deck to the gooseneck, and you need to insert the special spacer part that's included. This is another very nice Volvo tractor and Nooteboom low loader from WSI. The detailing is very good and most of the functionality is fine too. However, the main plus point of this model is the very attractive Cepelludo colour scheme. And with that, the model is easy to highly recommend.